Hey, it's your boy Davon. Got another episode for you on your success system. I have a special guest today. We're gonna go into real estate. I have my brother Brandon here. You know how we do it. We go in, we get some gems so that you guys can take this and run with it. So Brandon, how do we get to where we're at right now in real estate? What was the vision?
Yeah, for sure. So to say how we got to where we at now, I'll really say that like ever since I was like 17 years old, I really knew that real estate was gonna be my avenue. I didn't really know in what form and fashion it was gonna be. I didn't know if it was gonna be rental properties, flips. I had no clue as a real estate agent. I didn't know which lane was gonna be my lane, you know what I'm saying? But I would definitely say at 17, that's one of the few things that I was pretty firm on at the age of 17. Like, real estate is what I want to do. This is where I'm gonna see my wealth at. This is how I'm gonna get rich, you know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. So in real estate, what are we looking at? Are we looking at rental properties? Are we looking at flipping? Are we looking at wholesaling? What is the best in your opinion?
So for me, what I like personally is flipping. But I wouldn't say there's a best because everything has its good and its bad. And I've done them all. So I've wholesale properties. I flip properties. I'm actively and currently a real estate agent licensed in my area. You know what I mean? And I'm also a landlord.
Ooh, big time. Okay. So we can dive in a little more. Let's talk on the rental property. So rental properties, if you could tell us, finding your first property. Could you give us like some insight of how could we find our first property? Like a person, I'm saying we're gonna take it down to the bottom where a person have no money. Is it a way that we could get some kind of funding to get that first property? Is it,
So I would say that if you were just getting started in the game and you wanted to have rental property, what I would do is, if I was starting all over from scratch, I would buy a house that I planned on living in for a year. I would live in it for 1 year. That would allow me to get the FHA program, 3.5% down, or in some areas, depending on what the area is, you can get a grant and get 100% financing. You know what I'm saying? And so basically what they'll do is a lot of areas have a government assistance program. So instead of having to pay that 3.5%, so let's just say it's $100,000 house, 3.5% would be $3,500. You know what I mean?
So the government assistance program is what is it, like the first home buyers?
Yeah, it's like a first home buyer program that a lot of states offer. That would allow you to one or two things. It's income based. It'll allow you to you could get a second mortgage for that down payment amount, that $3,500. You know what I'm saying? That can be spread out over a 15, 20-year term, sometimes 30 years, depending on the city, state, you know what I mean? Or two, you can get a grant. The grant need free money. You know what I'm saying? So that $3,500 wouldn't come out of your pocket. You know what I mean? And every state has its own stipulations. Some say as long as you stay in the property for 2 years. Some say as long as you stay there for a year. You satisfy your loan conditions. But if I was starting off, that is the least expensive route to get a property. If you start out, especially if you're single, even if you got a family, but if you're single, you find your nice 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, you know what I'm saying? Something that you can get for a reasonable price, and you start from there, you know what I mean?
Okay. So we have to figure out a program. Figure out that program, we get in, we say, okay, get this house, stay there for a year or two.
At least a year. That's going to satisfy your loan requirement with the government.
So they won't be coming back and saying you got to pay these back.
That's legal.
Okay. So then from there, would you recommend looking at another place? Would you how would that go? Would we try to pull some equity out of there or what?
Man, there's so many different avenues. So let's talk about the equity standpoint. So for myself personally, how I really got started in flipping was I found a local investor that was doing his thing as far as he was already renovating, doing properties. And the way I started was I just went to the job site. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He had an active job he was doing. I just went there, seen what he had going on. He was doing a full gut on the project, and I was like, "Oh, okay, he actually doing this. All right, I'm trying to rock." Like he had been telling me, "Hey, come check out my project. You know, come see what I got going on." But you know, I just was in a different space. You know what I mean? I was still trying to find my own way. And then when I saw what he had going on, I was like, okay. So I jumped into that space. I was like, hey, what can I do? You know what I'm saying? I got a truck. You know what I mean? I didn't ask for no money. I didn't ask for no benefits. You know what I mean? I just want to learn. It was free game. You know what I mean? So that's how I started off. And then what I did was, when he got to the next project, and while he was working on that current project that I helped him with, I went and got what they call a Heloc. That's where the equity part falls into play.
Okay.
So Heloc is called Home Equity Line of Credit. So when you have a Heloc, basically what that means is you have equity. So let's just say, let's take a house. If you bought a house for, let's just say, $100,000, and then over a course of 2 years, that house is now worth $200,000, right? Which can't happen, right? Because you can find a house with a deal. You know, you can renovate, whatever. That home been worth $200,000. Most banks will allow you to borrow up to 80% of the LTV, loan to value. You know what I mean? So you say 80% of 200,000 is 160,000. So you take 160,000 minus what you owe on it. You know what I mean? Let's just say you owe 100,000. You know it's gonna probably be less. But let's just say you minus that, you minus their fees, you can get a home equity line of credit for, let's just say, $55,000. And think of a home equity line of credit like a credit card for your house. You know what I mean? You can borrow against it, and then when you're done using it, just put it back. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? And so for me, that's how I got in the game. I went and got a home equity line of credit. I can't remember the exact number. It was 30-something thousand that I got out.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
I took that, gave that to the investor. We came up with terms and conditions. The terms were 6 months, 20% of my money. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that's $6,000.
Okay.
So for the $30,000 I let him borrow for that project, I got back an additional $6,000. So I got back $36,000. You know what I mean?
Easy money.
Yeah, well, and don't get me wrong. The whole time I'm with him, though. You see what I'm saying? Because ultimately my goal is to really learn the game, understand the game, and grow. You know what I mean? So I didn't, you know. So for some people, you know, that's a way you can just park your money. If you find somebody that you know, is gonna do right by the money. You see what I'm saying? But for me, it was free game, and at the same time, I was learning for the next step in my process. Yeah. So real estate is a big topic with a lot of people. You know that majority. If you talk to any entrepreneur, they all say, "Oh, real estate." A lot of times they say real estate is the end goal, or you know, they need real estate in their portfolio. Yeah, for sure.
So, like, who was the person that put it in your head to say? Was it the contractor? Was it parents? Was it, you know? Who was it to say, well, Brandon, real estate is the way to go. When you get here, you're on the right track.
So I wouldn't say any one person like put it in my, you know, put it to me in that way. But I will say I grew up around it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I was fortunate and very blessed in the fact that starting from my great grandfather who owned trailers in Gresham, South Carolina, going down to my grandmother when she moved here from South Carolina, started working at the shipyard, and eventually she started buying her property. Mind you, this is at a different time period. You know, we talking about 30, 40 years ago. When, you know, houses in Huntersville was going for $7,000, and you know what I mean, stuff like that. Like them was the prices, but you know they was getting paid, you know, $225 an hour or something like that. You know what I mean? Like everything was different. You feel me? So you know, that was a lot of money in that time period. You know what I mean? So so she was buying up properties, then bought a couple multi-families, some single families, and so and it wasn't just her. You know, also my aunt at the height of her career, you know, when she was really out here hustling, you know what I mean? She had multiples, over 10 properties. My mother was a real estate agent and a real estate broker, you know what I mean? So I've grown up around real estate. So before before I jumped out here and was in the game on my own, I was a sponge and I was absorbing all this information. So you know, I got 20 years with the game in my mind.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha. So right now, where is your focus today? Is it the rental? Is it the flipping? You know, is it wholesale? Like, what is the concentration right now?
Yeah. So my concentration is flipping.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay. You want cash and carry?
Yeah, so you know, it's some real big bags that we got in the flipping game. You know what I'm saying? And that's really the gateway for other things. You know what I mean? Flipping property in 2022. You know, I'm definitely going to entertain more buy and holds. You know what I mean? Mainly
why is that?
Okay, so let's break down, because you spoke on it a little earlier. You like, you know, a lot of people say they want to have it in their portfolio with real estate, but many people don't even understand why they want to have it in their portfolio. They just really just know that because they've seen that somewhere and they're like, yeah, that means I'm doing something. Right. But let me tell you why the wealthy like real estate in your portfolio. Okay, so real estate in your portfolio, the reason why people like rental property so much, the wealthy in particular, is because you can almost pay no taxes on it. Okay, so and the way that happens is you're allowed to write off depreciation. So for every year, every item that you have in that property, your refrigerator, your stove, every year that goes by, it depreciates. Its value goes down. So that's a paper loss. That's what we call it, a paper loss. So almost every year you can break even. So you can still make your money, but you've taken a loss on paper. And that's why the wealthy, because this is the thing, when you get to a certain point and you're really trying to get to that money and you're trying to build wealth, you're trying to get rich, you're trying to figure out how to minimize your expenses, right? Exactly. Well, one of your biggest expenses, and people don't think of it like this because they just feel like that's just what you're supposed to do. One of your biggest expenses is taxes. On average, a person pays anywhere between 20 to 25%. And I'm just talking about out your check. Right. I'm not talking about your gas. I'm not talking about when you go to the grocery store. That really is going to fall in line with probably more like 35 to 45%. You know what I mean? In a year. You know what I mean? Of what you made.
That's half of your money.
That's almost half of your money. So the wealthy try to find ways to minimize the expenses. And that's why they favor real estate. Because you can put your money in there and you can take those deductions. You see what I'm saying?
Right. I need to know more.
Okay.
So I know you have Manor Academy.
Yeah, for sure.
Tell me more about Manor Academy.
Yeah, so Manor Academy is like the blueprint. You know what I mean? So for buying, selling, and flipping property. So basically, what I did was I created an online school where I'm teaching people the do's and don'ts of flipping. I'm teaching you the game that took me years to learn, right? So talking about different ways to finance, like we talked about the Heloc, how I got started, talking about hard money. So one thing you're gonna realize is there's not a whole lot of information out here about hard money. Right. Now that's a whole lot of people trying to get you to come borrow, right? And then when you get there, they're gonna hit you with all these fees. Right. You're not gonna know what they are. You're gonna think it's standard. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So in the course, I teach you, hey, this is what it looks like when you start off with hard money. These are the terms and conditions that are good. These are okay. These are bad, right? And I also show you like, hey, you may have to deal with these bad terms because you don't have a portfolio yet. You see what I'm saying? So you may have to eat that, but your goal should be to get here. Right. You see what I'm saying? Right. And that's why I see a lot of people that kind of like jump off the porch and just kind of don't really know what they're doing. And after they first deal, they out the game. You know what I mean? Within the first, they might do one good deal. And when I say one good deal, I really just mean they got lucky. You know what I mean? Right. They got lucky and then they happy. They like, whoo! I done seen this bread. I want another one. And next thing you know, they jump out there, and in the course of 6 months to a year, they really see how quickly that money can go. You know what I mean? And how quickly they can be in a jam. And so I've seen that several times.
Is that the reason why you say flip a little, flip, have rentals? Is that the reason why, or is that?
No, the biggest reason with so there's really three main types of income. You got earned income, that's like when you're working 9 to 5. You got portfolio income, that's like stocks and flipping, you know what I mean? And then you got like passive income, which is like rental property. Well, out of those three, the least tax is passive income. The highest tax is earned income, and then portfolio income kind of sits in the middle. So while flipping does good money, you know what I mean, it still is a high tax, and it's not forever. You know what I mean? Like it's always gonna be a need, right? But the market is gonna always change. You see what I'm saying? You're gonna have a good market, you're gonna have down markets. You see what I'm saying?
So you say the flipping is higher tax?
Yes, sir. You get capital gains tax. Yeah.
Okay.
Capital gains tax. And depending on what area you're in, depending on the area that you're in, depending on profits you made, that can be anywhere between 25 to 45%.
So do you think that like the system wants you to buy and hold, or what?
I think they definitely are tax benefits to buy and hold. So yeah, I say yeah.
Okay.
Because if you hold for 12 months, that tax bracket dramatically changes.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yeah, yes, sir.
For 1 year.
For 1 year. 12 months. 365 days.
So it would be better to hold and maybe flip one out of the year, maybe, or what you think?
Well, no, I wouldn't say that. I'm full time with the flipping. Like, that's really what I do.
Okay. What areas do you flip in?
So for me, it's just Hampton Roads. I started off in Portsmouth.
Okay.
I started off in Portsmouth, and in the beginning, that's the only city I did. I only did Portsmouth, and then from there, I branched off, and the next city I did was Newport News.
Okay.
And so for me, it was a lot of people that like had a bad mindset about Newport News, right? But depending on where you go to, they had that same mindset about Portsmouth.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying? Right? The same connotations they had, the same issues they had, the same reservations they had with the city of Portsmouth. I mean, they had, it's the same.
Right.
It's just that some people are from the area, so they're comfortable with it. You see what I'm saying? If you're from the area, you're gonna be comfortable with it.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying?
So when you like looking at properties or looking for properties, do you like stay on the lower end of the properties? What I mean, you know what I mean, lower end, like you looking for like HUD housing? Or are you looking for,
I'm looking for a deal.
Middle class?
I'm looking for a deal.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking for a deal.
So what does a deal look like to you?
Okay, so for sure. So when you're looking for a flip project, you want to look at the ARV. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So ARV stands for after repair value.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So what you want to be looking for is, hey, if I was to go in and fix this house, what would it be worth after I fix the house? All right, and you can get with a local real estate agent, you know what I'm saying, and they can help you with that. They can do what they call CMA, which is comparative market analysis. You know what I mean? They look at homes in the area that are similar and meet the same conditions, and they can look at ones that have been renovated and say, hey, this is the low end, this is the high end of what you could sell this house for. So that's going to be your after repair value. I always go with the low end. So if somebody told me, hey, you can sell this house between $230,000, I'm gonna just go with $200,000, right? I'm basing all my numbers off of that.
Okay.
If I can get $230,000, I'm happy. But if I just stick at $200,000 and I base all my numbers off of that, that removes that fluff. You know what I mean? Where I tell myself, okay, well, I can do this. Yeah, I remove that. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people I see them make mistakes like that. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
They go in and like, oh, well, you can get, between 180 and 230, and they just say, oh, I can get 230,000. That's a $50,000 difference. So if you get the low end of that, and next thing you know, you upside down, right? After your relative fees, after your closing costs, the person might mess around being a hole. You see what I'm saying? And not even realize it until they closing on the house.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So the first thing is, if I'm looking for a property, I'm looking for the after repair value. From that, I need for that property to not exceed 65% of that. So if my after repair value, and I can go to 70% if it's in the right neighborhood. So if it's in like a better neighborhood, where I feel like it's gonna sell a lot quicker, more desirable area, then I'll go up to 70. But that means for me, my repairs and my purchase price is not to exceed 65 to 70%. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So at $200,000, right? We say 70% of that. That's $140,000. So my purchase price and my repairs cannot exceed that. You see what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
If it's more than that, then I don't want it.